Hello everyone, hi and welcome back. It's been a month since my last tutorial. Today we are going to make a big project, a crochet dress. This is going to be a size small. But don't worry, I provided in the description below some guides if you have different sizes. You can also pair this with the Houndstooth cardigan I have on my channel. This will be the back view of our dress, and then let's begin. To start and to determine the length of our foundation chain, this yellow arrow represents as the center of our bust, and the green arrow is the length of our foundation chain. So the foundation chain is based on the gap between the two nipples. So let's get a 4mm hook on our lavender yarn, and I will make a foundation chain of 35. Our foundation chain must be an odd number. If you have different size, alter the foundation chains, and again, make sure it is an odd. Begin our first row, skip one chain and make single crochet and double crochet, alternate until the end of the row. So for our convenience, I provided on the upper left side of the screen the total stitches in every row. I'll meet you again on our last stitch. For our last stitch, we will make sure it is a double crochet. Make a double crochet and stop halfway, and grab your white yarn, make a slip knot, and pull through. And that's the end of our row 1. For row 2, chain 1, turn. Let us make an increase in the very first stitch. To increase means we're going to make a single crochet, a double crochet in the same stitch, and a single crochet again in the same stitch. So increase is making a 3 stitches in 1 stitch. And after the increasing part, continue by making double crochet and single crochet, alternate until we reach our very last stitch. Because there we are going to make an increase again. And as we move, let us carry the other yarn. Again on our last 2 stitches. These are our last 2 stitches. Make a single crochet first, and then let us start the increase by making a double crochet, single crochet, a double crochet in the same stitch. We must take note that in every row, we must end with a double crochet. Let us stop halfway, but before we are going to change color, we must pull the yarn that we are hiding. We can see on the screen that it creates some mess on our work. Move that mess, let us pull the violet yarn. And you can see the difference after we did that. Always remember to apply that in every row. To continue, pull the other yarn color. And for row 3, chain 1, turn, start with a single crochet and double crochet across, and then change color. This row has no increase. And let's meet again at the end of the row. When we reach the last stitch, make a double crochet. You'll always remember that we will make a double crochet in every end of the row. And remember, we must pull the yarn that we carried through to create a clean work. For the next row onwards, we will just alternate row 2, the increasing row, and row 3, the normal row, until we reach row 42, our last increasing row. And I will explain later on how to measure your own. So we can see on the screen that on row 4, I repeat the row 2 pattern. And on the next row after that, I will repeat the row 3, the normal row. I will make a single crochet, double crochet, alternate until the end of the row. No increase. So, these are the total stitches in every row to make sure we won't miss any. And it is like we're adding 4 stitches in every increasing row. This is how it looks from row 1 to row 42. So based on your size, you will stop alternating row 2 and 3 until it can wrap around your back. But just leave a small gap. Here, I'll show you how I do it. I wrap it around my back, I leave a small gap. But if row 42 doesn't fit for you, you can add more rows again by alternating row 2 and 3. And make sure to end with an even row or the increasing row. Row 42 is the last increasing part. To end with it, let us slip stitch on the very first stitch that we made using other yarn. So my bad guys, I made a mistake here. To mend it and to avoid confusion, we can see on the screen that my last stitch is a single crochet. I missed 1 stitch here. Supposedly, I should add 1 more stitch, a double crochet. So you will end with a double crochet. Row 43, chain 1, turn. Start with a single crochet and double crochet, alternate until the end of the row. We will not make any increase yet. And then again, since my last stitch at row 42 is a single crochet, It's wrong if I start with a single crochet in a single crochet stitch. So for me to follow the alternate of single crochet and double crochet and not ruin the pattern, I said I missed a one stitch. So I will use the slip stitch that I made in the previous row. So guys, you don't need to necessarily delve into this part. When you're finished in your row 42, as what I said, you will end there with a double crochet. And on row 43, chain 1, turn, single crochet and double crochet, alternate until the end of the row. Then slip stitch to the other side using the other yarn. You can carry along the row your white yarn, or you can just leave it there because we are going to work around and then return. Here we are now at our last stitch. We will make a double crochet. Again, we will always end with a double crochet. Then slip stitch to the first stitch using the white yarn. Until row 47, start by chain 1, turn, single crochet and double crochet, alternate until the end of the row, and slip stitch to the very first stitch using the other yarn. Starting this row, I won't weave my yarn anymore. I'm just going to leave it here. Please continue the pattern and let's meet again at the end of row 47. So we are now at the end of our row 47 and the line on the screen shows row 43 to row 47, the normal rows that we made. Continue by making slip stitch with the other yarn. We have 5 normal rows. Row 1 to row 47 is around 10 inches. Now, let us continue by making another round of increases in our hip part. Before we start crocheting, to identify where we are going to make an increase, divide your total stitches into 4. When I'm going to divide 118 with 4, I will get at 29.5. I will just round off and I get a total of 30. Then there, from the very first stitch in your last row, count 30 stitches and mark it. And make sure that stitch is a double crochet. Do the same thing on the other side. Start counting on your last stitch and then mark the 30th stitch. And that stitch is a single crochet. When both stitch markers are attached, you can see that it is located in every side of our hips. Row 48, chain 1, turn, alternate single crochet and double crochet until we reach our first mark stitch. next stitch. We are going to increase by making 3 stitches in that stitch without ruining the pattern. Since our last stitch is a single crochet, we are going to make a double crochet. And after that double crochet, single crochet again, and the double crochet again. And then we are done in our first increasing stitch. Before we are going to continue, let's get our stitch marker and let's mark the very center of that increasing part. And continue by alternating single crochet and double crochet until we reach again the second mark stitch. So this is our second mark stitch. We end with a double crochet. To increase, make a single crochet, double crochet, and after that single crochet again, and mark the center stitch. Alternating double crochet and single crochet, then let's meet again at the end. So this is our last stitch, a double crochet. To finish this row, slip stitch to the very first stitch using the other yarn. On row 49, start by chain 1, turn, single crochet and double crochet, alternate until the end of the row. But I'll meet you again on the mark stitch for us to identify what to do. Now, here we are. Remove the stitch marker and make a stitch here. Single crochet, and let's put back because that helps us to identify that is where we are going to make an increase on our next row. Then let us continue alternating the pattern. Again in the mark stitch and put the stitch marker back because that helps us identify on where we are going to make an increase. We're here, we end with a double crochet. To continue, slip stitch with the other yarn. Row 50, chain 1, turn, single crochet and double crochet, alternate until we reach our first mark stitch. Here we are on our first mark stitch. Since our last stitch here is a double crochet, on the increasing part, we will start with a single crochet, double crochet, and then single crochet. Basically, it is just like we repeat the row 48 pattern, but the difference is When we reach this increasing part, there are some changes on what stitch we should start or what stitches we should put in that increasing stitch. But the pattern is just pretty easy. Like chain 1 turn, start with a single crochet and followed by a double crochet, alternate until we reach the very first stitch marker, make an increase and continue with the normal, and again when we reach again the second stitch marker, make an increase. Then with the normal and slip stitch to the very first stitch with the other yarn. And take note to always alternate the pattern single crochet and double crochet. Chain 1 turn, start with a single crochet and followed by a double crochet, alternate until the end of the row, and please don't forget to reattach the stitch markers. For the next following rows, we will just repeat row 50, the increasing row, and row 51, the normal rows, until it can reach around our hips, or until it is enough and fit on our hip part. My hip circumference is about 34 inches. So, I will repeat those patterns until I reach row 60. stitch marker, it identifies as row 60, our last increasing row. On our last row, row 105 is just the same, but we are going to switch to 3mm hook. If row 105 is too short for you, add more normal rows. To row 105 is around 24 inches. Now let us make the crisscross bag. This is our back part. Let us flip our work first to the right side. Get your lavender yarn and 3mm hook. Insert to the top left side the mirror view. one, the second one, the third one, and we will make one more. After we made the last hole, let us single crochet 10 times to the next stitches. Once done in our 10 single crochets, let us repeat again by making chain 2 and skip 2 stitches. Make 7 single crochets. Repeat until we have 4 holes. Once done with our last hole, we are going to make single crochets all the way up. It doesn't matter how many stitches left. We started with 30 single crochets. As far as I remember, I think I have 27 stitches left. But don't worry, it doesn't make any difference, guys, on our work. Now, in this part, let us make around 250 chains for our lace. After that, skip one stitch and make slip stitch in every chains all the way down. Once we reach the bottom, let's make single crochets in every stitch. One stitch, slip stitch all the way down. Now we are at the bottom and then slip stitch, chain 1 and cut the yarn. Organize first the crisscross back before we are going to make the next part of this dress. make a slip knot and chain 6. Row 1, skip 1 and single crochet in every chain. For row 2 until row 10, chain 1 turn, single crochet back loop only to the next 4 stitches. And for the last stitch, single crochet and let us pick both loops. Let's meet again guys at row 11. Row 11, chain 1 turn, single crochet back loop only to the first stitch and make a chain of 3 and then skip 3 stitches and single crochet, pick both loops on the last stitch. It is why I made a chain of 3 because this is the size of my button. Make sure it is fit. For row 12, chain 1 turn, single crochet back loop only to the first stitch and that chain 3 space make 3 single crochet. Then on the last stitch, make a single crochet and pick both loops. For row 13 until row 22, chain 1 turn, single crochet back loop only to the next 4 stitches and for the last stitch, single crochet and pick both loops. Let's meet again at the last row. When done, chain 1 and leave at least 7 to 8 inches for sewing. Let us attach the buttons. The line on the screen shows that you will place the button parallel to that part where we made the chains. From the top all the way down, count 59 rows. That is where we are going to attach our buttons. That it is aligned to the top on where we made the back lace chains. button it first. Using the long tail that we left, work on row 57. Once we're ready, let us just use the simple method when sewing. After that, let us flip our work on the wrong side and weave the remaining yarn. Cut the tail and we are done. Please don't forget to do the same thing on the other side. Thank you so much guys for watching. If you love this tutorial, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more crochet contents. And if you want to recreate one of my patterns, please don't forget to tag me on my Instagram or on Facebook. I will be joyful to see your works. Thank you very much again and God bless everyone.